Welcome, 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 everybody, internet world. It's your bearded brother Matt.
Oh no one cares about me. Let's just move on.
That's the bearded brother Chris, and we are here to do yet another sports podcast. Um, we are here to give you all the news that is news on sports. I apologize that our podcast last week did not go up. For some odd reason, it did not record Chris's audio. Well, I don't know. Not my real problem if you think about it. Well, maybe it was. I think it was my screw up.
It was definitely your fault.
Probably was my fault. I'll cop to that. I'll cop to that.
Whether intentional or not.
All right. Well, we have a whole new video set up for me today. I'm using my new camera that I got from doing my college. So we're going to hope this works and that nothing is screwing up. That's the hope. Apparently the microphone I got is a little bit echoey. So
I mean, that's something you'll have to fudge around with.
I may have to play around with it and figure out how it needs to work. I don't know if I need to be in a better sound baffled room or if I just had the settings on Discord all jacked up.
Combination, who knows?
Who knows? All right. At any rate, we probably do need to talk about the fact this week that there were some injuries.
Yeah, I feel that. My shoulder's killing me. Oh wait, not me. Sorry.
Well, that's what happens when you do physical labor for a job.
No, you're crazy.
No. Why would we do that?
Physical labor.
Yeah, you know. But regardless of that, there are things that I think we do need to talk about. The Chiefs lost their backup quarterback now to the same injury that took out their starting quarterback.
Chiefs don't like the ACLs, apparently. They just don't like ACLs.
You know what I think this is? I think this is the sacrifice they needed to make for winning all those Super Bowls.
The devil takes his due.
The devil takes his due, and apparently it's a pair of ACLs.
He likes ACLs. Nom 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 nom.
Nom 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 nom. He ate them suckers all the way up.
I don't know why. They're ligaments. They wouldn't taste very well, but you know.
So the other news, Lamar Jackson has a back contusion that he suffered it in the game, and it kept him out of the rest of the game. Yep. Why that necessitated and what happened at the end of the game is beyond me, but we'll figure that out later. Yes, we will. We'll talk about it. And I just got the notification before we went on air that Brosmer will be the starter next week for the Vikings because JJ has a hairline fracture in his throwing hand.
What is it with quarterbacks not being able to stay healthy nowadays?
I don't know. And especially with someone like McCarthy, man. Like, you're a young. What are you doing that's getting you this injured?
I mean, yeah. I don't remember. I was trying to watch the play, but I didn't see if his hand specifically hit off a helmet or something, but I think that might have been what happened, but it's hard to tell.
I don't know. I think it was the play directly before halftime. And yeah, I think it was either when he got sacked and stripped or the play right before halftime when he got sacked anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one it was, but one of those two plays, he apparently broke his hand. At this point, the Vikings are out of it. Are out of the season anyway. So
no, I know, but you wanted him to play more so that you could get his confidence going for next season. And now it's like, is he even going to play another snap until next season? I don't know. At this point, it doesn't feel like it.
I wouldn't think so.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, it doesn't feel like it. So like,
because we've got the Lions coming up this week, and then I think it's the Packers. Yeah. Why would you want to put him in against either of those teams?
be the upset more than anything else.
Yeah, no.
'Cause actually, the Packers, you could potentially knock them out of the playoffs.
Potentially. I think in order for that to happen, the Lions have to win both their games. They have to beat us,
Yeah,
and they have to beat, I want to say it's the Bears.
the Bears. Yeah,
So they have to do that, and then we have to beat the Packers.
yep.
And then the Packers are out.
Which would
Otherwise,
be
the
kind of
Packers
funny.
are in. It would be, but I don't want to root for the Lions to beat us, even though I think that's what's going to happen. And I don't want to root for the Lions to beat the Bears because I kind of like the Bears this season.
Like the Bears is strong. That's a strong statement to make.
Okay, I have felt
Indifferent towards the Bears,
I
maybe.
have felt sorry for the Bears for a very
I
long
don't,
period of
I don't
time.
know if that's a better statement. Oh, you
But
guys have been
it's-
pathetic for so long. You guys deserve one.
That's more or less how I feel this year.
Oh
You
gosh.
guys have been trash for so long. The city deserves at least a little bit of niceties. Furthermore, the Kansas City Chiefs are moving.
I saw that news yesterday, and I was very confused until I saw what was going on. I went, "Oh, they're not actually moving." Okay.
Well, they're kind of moving. They're moving from Missouri to Kansas, but they're staying
Still
in
the
Kansas.
Kansas
They're,
City.
they're still staying in Kansas City.
They're still the Kansas City Chiefs, just
They're still
the other
gonna be-
side of Kansas City.
Yes, there's going to be a 25-minute difference in drive for
Yeah.
the people.
Maybe if that, yeah.
And the reason they're doing it is because Kansas is offering to help them pay for a domed stadium.
A dome stadium, yeah.
Which, let's be honest, I love Arrowhead. It's a historical place.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something to maybe host the Super Bowl or something, you're not going to get it in Arrowhead.
The odds are unlikely,
Exactly. So
especially
these
because of the
days,
time of year and everything, right?
yeah, and so I feel like in my brain of brains, like this is a good move. The Hunt family knows what they're doing. I'm sure they're
I
going to
guess-
have partial ownership stake in it too, so they can put on concert events there and stuff
Probably,
during the off
probably.
season. Yeah,
So the only thing I will say is that does make it kind of sad is that because somebody brought this up and I forget which YouTuber it was, if it was Tom or Perna or one of those other guys, but it is kind of sad to see a mechanic of the game slowly going away, which is weather. Weather has been a big part of football for so long, but you're seeing more and more teams, especially in the north, building the domed stadiums to not have the weather affect the game, which I get, but it's still kind of it's still kind of sad to see that part of football history is slowly being edged away from
yeah.
in favor of like perfect football, right?
Yes, I firmly agree with that. It is kind of sad to see that starting to disappear and vanish a little bit. Whether like Green Bay still has an open stadium in the
Yeah.
frozen north, and
I
Buffalo.
think Lambeau is going to be
is
probably
finally
one of
gonna- yeah, Lambeau. I think is going to be the final holdout.
it'll be between Lambeau and Foxborough probably, because those two are so historic for their time periods that like especially Lambeau, like I just feel like that will never move. If it does, it'll more likely get upgraded rather than actual move, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I feel the same about it. Like they'll build up like update the stadium or something.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
won't move out of Lambeau. It just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, no. they
Um,
won't.
I also speaking of, the other reason I brought that up is because I don't know if you've heard the rumors with the Bears.
Yeah,
um,
they're moving to a suburb of Chicago.
That's what they're claiming as what they want, but they're having issues apparently getting funding, and they have threatened to move to Indiana if they don't get the funding.
Where
Which,
would they
by the
move
way,
it?
I actually looked
Okay.
at it and I saw that that's actually like kind of makes some sense because like from Chicago to Indiana is actually very, very close. Like the border is
Yeah,
actually
but
really, really
where
close.
in Indiana?
It would have to be like in that upper part of Indiana, like right around Chicago.
Yeah, but what city would be up there that would be big enough to host a football team?
I don't know, but there probably is one that just has that could be good enough as long as it's Indiana that's paying for it. Build up a city around it. It's not an uncommon thing to happen.
No, it's not, but it still sounds dumb as hell.
It does, but at the same time, I mean, it's the Bears.
Yeah, it's the Bears. Move to St. Louis. Give St. Louis back a football team.
I mean, Missouri will want one again, so why not?
Yeah,
They lost
yeah.
both of their football teams.
They did. They had the St. Louis Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs, and now the Kansas City Chiefs are in Kansas, and the Rams are in California, which is where they
Yep.
started.
Which is where they started, yeah.
And I believe the Bears actually did start in St. Louis as the St. Louis
Was it the
Bears.
Cardinals? Was it
They had
Cardinals?
the Cardinals were in St. Louis, and then they became the St. Louis Bears, and then the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
So move them back to St. Louis where they started.
It would still be funny to see them go to Indiana because they already have the Colts, and so it'd just be really funny to see like Indiana of all states to have two
Yeah,
teams.
and Indiana with two teams. What the fuck?
To be fair, most people wouldn't have told you that Missouri had two either, and that would make a lot of sense either. So
Yeah, yeah. Not gonna say you're wrong for that.
I mean, you
Not
wouldn't
gonna say
see
you're wrong.
any Midwest state really have two teams. It's just unlikely.
Yeah, no, it is pretty unlikely, and you've got you got a spat of them across the Midwest, but like
Yeah.
you wouldn't think there'd be two.
Yeah, yeah. In a single state, it just seems a little weird. But I mean, at the same time, you know, I guess some states would be big enough. I guess in some ways, but
Well,
because
there are
in
several.
California,
There are
you
several that have three.
three. Yeah,
Florida has three.
yeah. Florida, California's got three, right?
California has three. Yeah,
Right. 49ers, the Rams, and the
They used to have
Chargers.
four.
Yeah, but then the Raiders moved to Vegas.
Then the Raiders moved to Vegas.
New York, I guess, technically has three.
They do. They do.
Oh, they
Although
have
you
the
could
Bills,
argue
the
that
Jets,
two of
and
them
the
are in New
Giants.
Jersey.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But hey, who am I to say?
Yep. Who are we to say anything about that?
Nobody wants to be. Nobody wants to be associated with Jersey.
Surprisingly, that Texas only has two.
They could probably, honestly, they could probably have a third if they wanted one.
You could probably put one in San Antonio or El Paso
Yeah, probably.
if you really wanted to try.
Yeah,
There's a good shot that either one of those cities would support a football team.
yeah.
Both of them are fairly large.
I mean, listen, if Jacksonville can have one, why not? Let's be honest. Out of all the Florida cities, Jacksonville is not the top tier choice that a lot of people would think of as a city that hosts a football team.
Except the other two were already taken.
I know, that's my point.
Tampa Bay and Miami are the two that everybody would come up with.
Yeah, exactly. That's why having three in Florida is kind of considered a little. Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little weird. Just a little.
Now, granted, I get it. A lot of people, those are states that has a lot of consumers in it, to put it nicely. So I can understand why three football teams in that area makes sense.
Yes. Yes, it does. Even as weird as it sounds, it makes some version of sense.
It does make some sense. Yep. Kind of like New York, or California. It's like, oh, yep, those are very consumer-friendly states.
They really are very consumer-friendly states. It's pretty obvious that there's a lot of people in them, and especially aggregated into the city areas.
Yeah. I mean, California less so than it used to be, but it's still a high known vacation spot. So
Yes, and even then, there's still quite a few people aggregated into the cities of Los Angeles and San Francisco and all the tech moguls and everything else there.
some of that stuff's starting to move to Texas, but yeah.
A little bit, yeah. Not in the droves that people would have you believe.
It depends on the tech stuff. Like the smaller businesses, I think, are moving to Texas, while a lot of the larger ones are staying in California because they're cemented there.
It
But
depends,
that's
and
that's
that's
just from
also
what I've seen.
that's also very dependent. I live in Texas, so trust me, you don't.
No,
If,
I know. I'm just saying that's what I've seen, or I should say heard. Like, or what's more common, I should say, is a lot of those tech industries are building a secondary headquarters in
A
Texas or
lot of them
another,
are coming into like
yeah,
Austin or
yeah,
Dallas.
Austin and Dallas, yeah, specifically, yeah,
I am seeing that Austin's been a small like mini San Francisco for better part of a decade now.
yeah. It's
Um,
just becoming more and more that way. Yeah,
yes, it is, and I'm not going to
whether for
deny
good or
that.
bad, that depends on who you ask.
Um, and I don't know where all of it came from, but I do think a lot of it came from the guys at Rooster Teeth who were doing all the machinima stuff. And
It was some of that. It was, as much as you might not like the guy, some of it was also Joe Rogan being Joe Rogan. Because he moved to Texas, and a lot of other people are like, oh, I'm gonna move to Texas with Joe. All right,
there
whatever.
is that, and it's
Fair weather people who just follow along with the trends.
yeah,
Kind of thing.
it's to me that's like guys that follow whatever. They don't have a favorite team. They'll follow whatever their favorite player is. LeBron, like a lot of
Yeah,
the LeBron fans, they've got Miami jerseys
which
and Cleveland
which I
jerseys
get.
and Lakers
I
jerseys.
I mean, I get that to a degree. Like, let's be honest. I totally understand being fans of players. Like, I am a fan of Joe Burrow. It doesn't matter where he goes. I'm going to like Joe Burrow.
I'm kind of that way about Kevin Garnett. Um, like I didn't. The thing is, though, had he gone to a competing Western team, like if he had been traded to San Antonio, I'd have hated him. I'd
Yeah.
have burned his jersey, and that's just
But,
because
you know,
that's my thing. But he got traded to Boston, Eastern Conference. They're good. Maybe he could win a title. Okay, yay! I don't care.
yeah. I
You
mean,
don't
it
compete
to me,
directly with me.
it sort of depends. Like, I've always liked Matthew Stafford as a quarterback, but obviously he was part of the line, so I was just like, I hope you lose, but I kind of feel bad for you. And then he went to the
I
Rams, and I went, yay! Now I can really cheer for Matthew Stafford.
I appreciated his talent,
Yeah,
no matter where he was, and I always felt bad that he had to be on the Lions. Same with Calvin
yeah,
Johnson. Loved Calvin Johnson. Felt
yeah,
bad he was stuck on the Lions.
yeah. I mean, Barry Sanders is a classic for that
Barry
example too.
Sanders. Loved watching Barry Sanders. Very upset that he had to be stuck on the Lions for
Yeah,
years.
yeah, exactly. So that's kind of more where I come from that aspect. I can understand people following individuals and being fans of individuals. I mean, if you're going to look at that, Rooster Teeth is another example of that. I mean, let's be honest, Gavin was somebody people followed because they liked Gavin, not necessarily Rooster Teeth, right?
And
So
they
when he went
liked
off to
him.
do his own things, they kept following him to his other things.
Well, here's the funny part. He
Yeah,
started with his other things. The slow mo
I
guys
know,
were a
I
thing
know.
long before he was with Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, yeah. It just got more popular after that. Yeah,
Yeah, he was one of their first outside recruits that they brought
yeah.
in. People who weren't from the local area that were friends.
Yeah. No, I get that. I'm just saying, like, in general, though, like, people followed him because they liked him, and then they liked him more, and so they continued to follow him. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Like I said, there is some of that going on. But yeah, there are certain areas and states that can support a three team or two teams, but there's not a lot of them.
Now, honestly, if they do expansion at this point, I think it would make sense to go into Canada personally. But
Canada, Utah would not be terrible because they don't have a football
yeah,
team in Utah.
Utah wouldn't be bad if they really want to go international and still don't go Canada. As much as I hate to say it, I think Mexico is not a terrible idea.
Mexico,
There are
Canada,
certain areas in Mexico I could understand.
both of those are good ideas.
Canada makes the most sense to me by
It
far.
does. It absolutely does. The issue is that you're competing with the CFL,
Yeah.
and Canadians love their CFL.
I get that, but I feel like the CFL would be a perfect opportunity to then transfer people from the CFL into pro, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, we're going to use the CFL as a secondary league that we can actually draft people from or take people from, you know? I think
Yeah,
actually, that would be actually a very cool aspect in my opinion. But
it would be to a degree, but I don't know if the people who organize and run the CFL would be down for that. You'd have to make them a
it
pretty.
depends on the deal.
I would say, I think you're going to have to make them a pretty substantial deal, and I don't know that the NFL would want to make that big of a deal. But that, again, just me.
I mean, I think there always should have been a secondary league between college and pros because there are just some players, as we've seen, that don't make that initial step right away, and sometimes it takes them longer to reach that pro level, but they have the ability to. I mean, in my case, I could easily look at Geno Smith, right? Geno Smith didn't work out the Jets. If he had a secondary league he could have gone to and played for a while and then gotten better, then he would have that transfer to pro might have happened faster. I think there
I
are
agree.
just some players that coming out of college, the stress and pressure and everything involved around the NFL can sometimes break people. And sometimes having a secondary league where you can kind of rediscover yourself, I think, is very important, in my opinion.
I firmly agree. I cannot say that that is incorrect in the slightest. I rather like your viewpoint on that. I was going to point out, like hockey has the AHL.
Yeah, hockey or baseball, if you want to look at theirs,
Yeah,
they have
and
the same
baseball
thing.
has a very tiered system, but they
Yeah,
have like hockey has the AHL, baseball has the minors.
yeah,
Yeah, and those are minor league baseball is fun. If you've never been to a
yeah.
minor league
No,
game, go watch a
Saints.
minor league game.
One of my favorites actually is the Saints.
Oh, the St.
Watching
Paul Saints.
the,
Yeah,
the St.
when
Paul
I
Saints
lived
is
in
fun as hell to watch.
when I lived in Albuquerque, I used to go watch the Isotopes.
Yep.
Love the Topes, man. They were fun.
Yeah, they always put on a good show too. So
Mm-hmm.
even if the baseball itself isn't spectacular, they
No,
typically put
and
out other things to make it interesting.
I have a good buddy named Wade who works for the Mobile Bay Bears.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
So yeah, I think something like that for football would make sense, and I feel like CFL already exists, so it'd be easy to transfer that into being a secondary
if
league.
that's
But
something that was negotiated, I could totally see it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. I think that's about all the news. I can't think of any other major injuries that popped up.
Um. Well, apparently Marcus Mariota is injured.
Ah, right, right. He got hurt again.
He got hurt again. So they're playing. I think their third stringer now.
I think so.
We know the Chiefs is playing their third stringer. We talked about
Yep.
that.
Oladokun.
We know that. Oh, Jordan Love went down. Remember,
Ah, right,
he
right.
got
Jordan
concussed.
Love got concussed.
So
I forgot
we don't
about
know.
that.
Yep, we don't know about long term on that. Um, I think was. I mean, there was quite a few other injuries, but they were like linemen and stuff like that. I'm trying to think
A
if there
lot of linemen went out.
like I think wasn't it Ryan
was
Kelly
it?
got another concussion?
Ryan Kelly has another concussion. One of the other centers, I think it's the Colts center, went
Yeah,
out.
the Colts center he went out. Yep,
He went
he
out. They
last
had to
night.
use their backup center.
Yep, that happened last night.
Yeah, that.
I don't think it
whole-
overall played into the impact of the game though. Based
No,
on
that
all
game
I
was
saw.
out of hand long before that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, was there anybody else I can think of off the top of my head? There might be others, but that's the only ones that I can really think of off the top of my head right now. Because I don't think any running backs went down that I can think of. Yeah, I think those are the big ones that I can remember off the top of my head.
All right. Well, that makes sense to Matt. All right then. With that all being said, let's get to the games.
I guess if we have to.
Well, I mean, we won.
Yeah. Kind of a meaningless game, but yes.
It was. But first, we're going to talk about a game that caused us much consternation between each other.
I for different reasons. I think the overall argument was stupid because it doesn't. The argument we were having didn't really matter to the outcome that we both agreed on. So I think that's really.
Kind of. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's eventually what it boiled down into.
Yeah, in reality, it was more of a miscommunication of issue than it was anything else.
Yeah. The way so we're going to talk about the Rams and the Seahawks, and
Yeah.
this game, wildest ending I've seen all season. And
Also,
then it got itself
poorly
outdone.
officiated, to be honest.
Very poorly officiated. But the call that everybody's interested in has nothing to do with most of the game.
Unfortunately, yeah.
It's one call fourth quarter, Seahawks have just scored. They need a 2-point conversion to tie the game. Falls back to pass, Darnold does. Goes to throw what looks like a screen pass. It hits off of Jared Verse's helmet. Cameron Curl attempts the interception, and it doesn't make it. The ball bounces up off of his arms and hits one of the other defenders in the calf, ankle, leg area.
Area, yeah, low leg.
And winds up in the end zone where it is recovered by a member of the Colts who picked it up in the quote-unquote immediate continuing action of the play. So,
which I still think that's kind of a bad take for that, because the whistle was blown and everyone was not really continuing their action, but hey, that's just me.
And I don't disagree. They did blow the whistle, so the play technically would be dead, but there is a rule in place that is a very vague rule, and I think that's where the crux of our miscommunication came in. And the way Go ahead.
My issue mostly stems from it's not a ruling that they have ever used before. It's not one that they've ever talked about before. It's one that it would have never grazed anyone's thought pattern ever, and all of a sudden they pull it out now. It just feels very convenient is the best way to word it.
I agree, but apparently it's been in the rule book since 2009 or 6 or something like that.
I know, and that's my problem, is that like this has never been brought up or talked about ever until just now.
So, for those of you that don't know, the pass was determined upon review to be a backwards pass, thus making the ball a fumble, thus making it a live ball. So when it was recovered in the immediate continuing action, the whistle can be overturned, thus allowing it to be a successful 2-point conversion. I agree with Chris that sounds very, very, very convenient.
Well, that also brings into question all screen passes that get done now, because there are so many that get whistled as dead balls when they're not caught, and it makes you start wondering, okay, are those actually dead balls then? Are those actually not going to have to be ruled as fumbles from now on?
And I don't think it brings into position all of them. A lot of screen passes...
No, not all of them, but there are quite a few. That's all.
Yes, but there are a lot of screen passes where it's definitive that the ball is still moving forward.
Yeah, moving forward, yes, absolutely. But there are definitely some
because the quarterback falls further back to allow time for the screen to set up. Because he's got a shitload of defenders in his face.
Yeah.
So I'm not as worried about that. This was more of a... To me, it brings into question bubble screens. Because
I was going to say or RPOs, because that's where you're not really...
RPOs and bubble screens, which is what we saw from Seattle. That's what that play was. At any rate, the Rams, in overtime, marched directly down the field and score and kick the extra point. The Seahawks marched directly down the field and have a successful 2-point conversion.
Motherfucker!
There was no question on this one.
The irony on that, though, is like you get screwed by a 2-point to only lose then by another 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Fuck!
Yeah. You have to be mad if you're the Rams about that. And even the head coach came out and said, that's not something I think I've ever had happen or seen ever.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
A lot of Rams players came out and basically was like, we need better explanation of those rules, because this is a rule that has never been used or explained before, and now you're just bringing it out right now. That's very convenient of you guys. You guys need to start explaining your shit better.
I did.
Which I actually do agree with that.
I agree, but we'll never have it happen, because then the NFL would have to admit that they're not managing games. I'm not going to go... We agree. They're not trying to fix games. That's too hard. But making games more interesting so that you keep viewer retentionship, so you can sell more advertising, so you can make more money? Absolutely, that's a thing.
Influence the game just enough. And maybe we can make it interesting.
Just enough.
I
hate it.
I hate it too. But it definitely felt... This game was the closest epitome to that's what that felt like.
I agree firmly. This was the most blatant example to me of game managership. I've been complaining about it in hockey for a long time, but no, this absolutely is something that I think we need to get better explanation on. I'm not going to say that it wasn't called properly, because according to the rule book it was, but that means that maybe you should have been enforcing the rule book a whole lot better a lot of other times.
I was gonna say that brings into question a lot of other things, and that's the problem for me. Because that starts making you wonder, well, then were they ruling those incorrectly for so long then? Because that's what that means. That means that's what you're telling me then.
That's what you're telling us. Yes, exactly. Yeah. We're in agreement on that. If it was ruled correctly, then there's a bunch of stuff they haven't ruled correctly. If it wasn't ruled correctly, we should know.
Exactly. So that tells me that tells me you either did a shit job this time, or you've been doing a shit job this entire time. Which one is it, buddy? Because either way, you have to admit that you fucked up somewhere.
Sliding right along, Saturday, we had the Eagles and the Commanders. I've got very little to say about this. I don't think I watched this game because I don't think I thought it was going to be any good.
I literally watched a quarter of it and went, yep, this is going to exactly go how I think it's going to go, and I turned it off.
I also think the Wild were playing, and I wound up turning them on.
Yeah, you were watching the hockey game. I remember that, yeah. You were talking about it.
We won that game, by the way, and then we lost on Sunday. I was a little upset about that.
Shit happens.
Yeah, it does. Then we had the really, really wild game that utterly outdid the insanity of Thursday night in a different way, and I think a better way. The Packers traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears.
The better way depends on who you ask, really.
If you were to ask Tom Grossi, I think he'd still cry and maybe want to slap you.
I mean, so what I will say about that is that game may have ended differently if Jordan Love didn't get concussed by a very obvious helmet-to-helmet fucking hit.
That was super, even I looked at it and went, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I think I even texted you, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Totally
some people are trying to be like, oh, it was totally a clean hit. I'm just like,
no. He led with his helmet and very obviously targeted the helmet.
What was he trying to actually hit him in the head? Maybe not, but did he? Yes, he did.
Now, I will say, Malik Willis, not looking too shabby.
No, despite the loss, he looked pretty well, except for that very, very unfortunate end to that overtime drive where he fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
That's going to leave a bad taste in most people's mouth, but most of the game he actually played pretty well.
And then in overtime, on 4th and 1, he fumbles the snap.
Whoopsies.
And then the Bears, being the Bears, move into position to kick a field goal. And that's also converting at least 1 4th down on that drive. I think they converted 2 on that drive.
Yeah, they converted, I think for sure 1. I don't know if 2, but for sure 1.
And then, rather than going for the field goal, they drop back, and DJ Moore gets a step on his guy. Caleb Williams unleashes a deep ball. Moore comes down with it in the end zone. Game.
I was going to say, honestly, that feels less like the Bears and more like Ben Johnson. Because that's something Ben Johnson would have done with the Lions last year.
That is very much a Ben Johnson thing. And that just proves to me that Ben Johnson is a hell of a coach. Yeah, Ben Johnson, he knows the timing. He went, they're going to probably assume that we're only going to go for the sticks to get a little closer for a field goal. That might, depending on how this matchup works, and give a step for a wide receiver to get open in the field, and then we could just definitely end the game right there without even needing to worry about it. Now, here's the fun part about that. The Bears were missing both Luther Burden, LB3, and they were missing Roma Dunze. Yep, didn't have him. Still won that game.
Yep.
After trailing, I think they went in to the 4th quarter trailing 16-6 or 13-6 or something like that.
It was 13-3 at the start of 4th quarter.
13-3.
Yeah.
Packers, you choked.
They quite literally choked it away. Yeah.
That's a choke job for the ages, man.
Because you got to remember that it was the Bears got a field goal. Then the Packers basically did I think, got another field goal. Then the Bears got another field goal to get it up to 9 points, but then they had to go for an onside kick. And then they got the onside kick, and then were
And then,
able to get
and then they
another
got that
touchdown to tie up the game.
ridiculous touchdown catch.
Yep. By a
Jesus.
undrafted rookie. I don't even remember the guy's name, but it
Oh
was
my
undrafted
God.
rookie.
Yeah. How do you leave him open?
Completely open in the corner. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was a wild, like, honestly, most of that comeback actually happened in the last like 3 minutes of the game.
Yes, it was. It was literally a 3-minute choke job by the Packers.
Pretty much. Yep.
They had everything in hand until that point, and then just everything collapsed all at the same time.
Yep. Yep. They clearly were tired, and Ben Johnson put his foot to the floor and went, "All right, time to go."
Time to go. We got it. We've been waiting around for this.
They finally look tired. Let's go.
Then we'll move on to Sunday, where the Vikings traveled to New York to take on the Giants.
That was a game.
It was a game. It was a game that we won, but I'm not sure we deserved to.
Let's be honest. The Giants just wanted to lose to get that #1 draft pick.
I think that's what it was, is the Giants were just like, fuck it, we're going to lose.
Let's build around Jackson Dart, boy.
It turned into a defensive matchup, is what it really turned into, of who can sack the other team's quarterback the most.
Pretty much.
And the answer was the Vikings in the end.
Barely. Yeah.
Barely. They do win 16-13. We've got the Lions and the Packers left, and I don't like either of those matchups. And as we mentioned, J.J. McCarthy broke his hand at halftime.
Yeah, and probably won't be playing either one of those games.
I would have guessed not. I would guess that he's not playing either game.
Yeah.
The Jets traveled to New Orleans to get a mud hole walked into them by the Saints.
Shock.
Yeah, man, 29-6 between Shuck and Olave. They obliterated the Jets.
Yep. I mean, they definitely don't need a quarterback next year unless they really want to have a competition. But they don't need one.
I think Tyler Shuck is the future for them. I don't know.
I called Shuck was going to be good. God damn it! I said he was going to be good.
Like I said, I don't know that he's great, and I don't know that
I
he's
never said he might have a high. I still.
You
I think
have
I
consistently said that, which is what I like.
Yeah, I think I labeled him as a high floor, low ceiling.
You did, and you've said that multiple times, and I rather like the fact that you said that because it makes sense. Shuck is not a terrible quarterback, but neither
he's a competent quarterback.
Yes, he's Brock Purdy.
Yeah, you give him a decent line and some weapons to work with, he'll look good.
Yep. And then the Bills traveled to Cleveland to face the Browns. Oh, this had an injury in it.
That was a bad game.
Oh, there was an injury. And was it this week or last week? Quinshawn Judkins.
That was this week, yeah.
Broke his leg.
I'm glad I didn't see it happen because they refused to show it afterwards, and I'm like, that means it was really bad.
it was nasty. It was worse than the Scattaboo.
Ooh.
Yeah. You could tell right away. You were like, oh no, legs do not bend that way.
Yep.
Instantly.
One of their looking like star players all of a sudden goes down like that, and you're just like,
ooh, it's not fun to watch.
Despite that, the Bills barely win this game.
That's because they also had Josh Allen out for a little bit there, who wound up with a foot contusion. They thought maybe they had to take it for X-rays. They thought maybe he broke his foot.
Yep.
He did not. They are lucky. He just bruised it really badly.
Yep.
Which limited his mobility, and you could definitively tell for the rest of the game he was in some pain playing on that sucker.
Yep.
The Chiefs have totally given up the ghost. They go to Tennessee and get blown out by the Titans.
I think this was easily the game. In my opinion, I realized like the Chiefs didn't have a really good offense, but that's not the point. The offense of the Titans had still had to play a fairly competent Chiefs defense, and this is the game, in my opinion, where you really go, okay, Cam Ward is our guy. We're fine. We got our
Yeah.
quarterback.
And not only that, though, you look at this from the Chiefs' perspective, and you go, yeah, even the defense is like, we've got nothing to play for. We're not even going to give 100% anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
They gave like 25%.
yeah. They look like hot garbage. But to
Yeah,
be fair, they've
and
looked like hot garbage most of the season. So
they have, but if they were still in contention, I think we'd have seen a much tighter game. I just don't think they
Maybe.
care. I just don't think they care anymore.
maybe not. But either way, this to me felt like a game that Cam Ward showed that like, no, I can still do this if you build around me. So
And while the Eagles win earlier this week officially put the Cowboys out of contention for the playoffs, the final nail got driven in when the Chargers went into Jerry World and pounded them 34-17.
wasn't this the only game so far this season that Justin Herbert didn't get sacked?
Yes.
So,
Cowboys, your defense is abysmal.
you
You
couldn't
gotta
even
bump.
beat the O line, a completely beat up O line of the Chargers.
You got to bump when you got Quinn Williams, and then, like, dude, you got to get rid of Eberflus. He has to go.
Yep.
Gotta go. Get rid of him.
I think Eberflus needs to go back to college for a bit.
Yeah. If that, maybe Pee Wee.
Send him to high school.
And then in the Who Wants to Win This Division Bowl, the Buccaneers went to Carolina to lose to the Panthers.
Let's go Panthers!
Who now control the division?
Let's go Panthers!
Now,
Yeah, I've been
the
saying it
Bucks
since like
can
week one. They're a better team than people think they are.
The Buccaneers can still win this division if they win out and the Panthers lose out.
Possible.
Yes. Essentially, the Panthers could win this division if they win one more game.
Yep. I don't know who they play next. We'll have to see next week, but
Yeah.
It's
But they
possible.
did win 23-20.
yeah.
How if the Buccaneers miss the playoffs, the immediate thing that has to happen on Black Monday is Todd Bowles has to get fired.
Oh, absolutely. I'm surprised they just didn't leave him in fucking Charlotte when they got
I'm
him the bus.
amazed they let him get on the plane to come back after that game. Holy shit. That
Sir,
was
you have to drive yourself back home. You're not allowed
Sir,
on the
you
plane.
have to walk. We're not
You're
even
not
going to
al-
let you drive. Fuck you. Walk back to
Well,
Tampa.
I'm sure he has enough money to be able to afford at least a taxi.
You really think any taxi is going to take him back to Tampa?
Honestly, depending on how much money you pay, possibly. He does pay a lot of money, though.
The Bengals went into Miami in an utterly meaningless game and stomped a mud hole in the Dolphins.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was an utterly
Completely
meaningless game for both teams.
It was. It was just all about. It was just the Bengals going, see, guys, we're still kind of not bad.
It was. I think it's also Joe Burrow auditioning possibly for a new team.
Potentially.
We've been talking about that. There's some rumblings that he is not happy with Cincinnati right now.
That's what it sounds like. Now, whether or not that carries over to what we think could happen, we'll see. But
We'll see. We'll see. The Jaguars head to Mile High in Denver and win?
didn't see that coming. And it wasn't even like they barely won. It was pretty concise.
34 to
34
20.
20. Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence looked good?
He has for the last couple of weeks now, and I'm starting to wonder, has Liam Cohen finally unlocked the Trevor Lawrence we all thought we were fucking getting?
We've asked this before.
It only took 5 fucking years to get here, though.
Well, we asked it with that second half of the season when they made it to the playoffs and they won a playoff game with Doug Peterson, and we thought, oh, they've unlocked Trevor Lawrence, and then the next season he just completely tanked.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
I will
But
say
this
that
was a
Liam-
lot longer to get to that point versus being really good right away. This was like, man, he looks still kind of rough. Oh, wow, these last couple of games, he's looked pretty clutch.
And I will say that Liam Cohen has said that we're not even talking about the 11 or 12 wins we could get. We're not talking about that. We're just coming out to play and win football games. That's it.
Yeah. So maybe Liam Cohen was the right hire for that team. We'll find
It
out.
appears he was, apparently.
At least for this first season. We'll see how that carries over.
The Falcons beat the moribund Cardinals. Of course, we all knew that was going to happen.
Pretty much.
Um, 26-19. Like, I'd say I feel bad for the Cards, but I don't. You're the Cardinals.
I
You
feel
had.
bad for the players more than anything else. Like they had to play for the Cardinals.
Well, they had a run way back, like several years ago, a
Well,
decade
wasn't it? Are
plus
we
now.
talking? I was gonna say we're talking like mid 2000s, late 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah, when they had Kurt Warner and Fitzgerald and everybody, they
Yeah.
had a
Yeah.
run
They had a
and
couple of good years
a
actually.
couple of good years in there, and then that's kind of been it.
Yep.
Um,
And they made a Super Bowl for goodness sakes, you know.
Now, I am amazed that the Raiders and the Texans game was as close as it was.
I am also am, which is why like I had issues with if I wanted to put Texans on my list because how the fuck did you almost lose to the Raiders? Granted,
My thing is,
it
who
wasn't.
else would be on the list right now?
I know that was my problem. Also, to be fair, it wasn't you almost lost to the Raiders. It was you almost lost to Ashton Genty. Because my God, that guy had a fucking game.
Yeah, he basically was like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of watching us lose. I'm gonna put the whole team on my back and fuck all of you.
Pretty much. Dude had a game.
That touchdown reception,
Oh, that was beautiful. Yeah,
he ran over like two people.
that's what I'm saying. It was great. He's got the speed and power.
The Steelers go to Detroit and beat the Lions.
Beat. Man, that was rough.
That was rough. Essentially, they fucked the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So they called a penalty on the last play of the game. Was it on the Lions? Was it OPI?
It was OPI.
It was OPI, but the Lions didn't get another chance because they slow rolled the clock. Game over.
Well, the refs even admitted they're like, yeah, it was a touchdown, but because of the OPI, go fuck yourselves. Game's done. It's like, okay, guys, thanks.
Yep. We do have a touchdown, but there was offensive pass interference on the play. This allows the clock to be slow rolled. Game's over.
Yeah, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I get it. I get the idea, like, games can't end on a defensive penalty. I get that. But, like, offensive penalty, some of those where they would be retries, I feel like should still be allowed, but I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from on that.
I get also where that could be abused, so, like...
Yeah.
It's just upsetting to watch that game and go, really? That's how that ends? Motherfucker.
Yeah, that was...
And the worst part is it wasn't even called incorrectly because if you watch the play, it was very clearly OPI. You're just like, yeah, no, that was definitely OPI.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
It wasn't even... It was like you would even... Oh, come on, man.
Yeah. It wasn't even ticky-tacky. Straight up just fucking hard shoved the dude. It's like, fuck.
Well, there was a call here in the next game, Patriots and Ravens. Drake May threw... They wound up getting the first down out of this eventually anyway, but Drake May threw the ball downfield, and Kayshon Boutte was going to catch the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and Marlon Humphrey just straight up tackled him before the ball got there.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And there was no flag.
Yep.
Everybody was looking around going, seriously? You're just allowed to hit people before the ball gets there now?
Yep, apparently. Only sometimes, though.
Patriots still won that game 28-24.
Barely. Like, they were trailing for most of it, to be honest.
They were trailing for most of it, and Lamar went out. And then we have to talk about the reason they won the game. You're on your final series of the game. The guy who's gotten you close to 5 yards every time he touches the fucking football on your final series to try to score is on the sidelines?
Yes. He was tired.
I don't know if he was tired or if Harbaugh said, nope, you stay here.
Typically, it's not the second option more often than not, but it's hard to say 100%.
It is hard to say why they did not have Derrick Henry in the game
Yeah.
for what was probably the most important drive of the game.
Yeah. Who knows? He might have actually hurt himself and was like, "Hey, I'm limping. I don't feel like I can go out there right now," or something.
And
Yeah,
that
who
could
knows?
be. And
Yeah.
if it comes out that he was injured or something, I'm totally
Yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah.
But as of this moment, we don't have that answer, and it
No.
looks like Harbaugh just didn't put him in.
That's what it looks like. I kind of doubt that did happen because the odds of that are so unlikely. So there was probably some other extenuating circumstance, but they might just not tell us.
They might not.
Yeah.
And then Monday night. Oh,
I was gonna
go
say,
ahead.
actually, we almost forgot. I did want to bring up the Steelers Lions game because somebody got suspended in that game. Yeah, in case you forgot about that, at the very end of the game,
Two
somebody
games. Somebody
did
took a
something they weren't
swing.
supposed to.
Somebody took a swing at a fan.
Yeah, don't put your hands on fans, and definitely don't swing at them, or you get suspended.
Especially not if your name is DK Metcalf.
Dude, that guy. Also, I didn't realize this, but he's one of the most penalized or most fined players in the league right now. And then he tried to say that he's going. That they said they were going to try to appeal it because supposedly the fan had said some derogatory information. Supposedly.
Now the fan has come out and said he didn't say any of that
He
shit.
didn't say any of that. Yeah, yeah. Now, whether true or not doesn't really matter. It doesn't give you justification to swing at somebody.
Now I
Just
will
saying.
say that there's a great scene in a TV show that addresses this, and it's in Ted Lasso, um, where
I both love and hate Ted Lasso, but for very different reasons.
Roy is doing the press conference after Isaac has taken a swing at a fan in the stands. And he says he's lucky he only got a red card. It was terrible. And somebody asks him, why'd he do it? And he said, when I was first coming up through Sunderland, there was an old-timer there, local guy. He and his wife were about to have their first child, and I said, statistically speaking, I'm probably the kid's father. And he went totally mental and battered the crap out of me. Chipped a tooth, broke my ribs, I couldn't play for 6 games. He got booted off the club, and after that, no one else would go near him. So in the summer, after everything had healed, I ran into him in a pub, and I got to say sorry for my stupid fucking joke. And he got to tell me that he and his wife had lost the child, and he hadn't told anyone. The point is that nobody knows what's going on in anyone else's life.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what was said. So for DK to do what he did, while it was wrong, dog, get yourself some help and we love you.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like it's like there's just no real justification to swing on. Like even if supposedly what was said was true, that's still not justification to swing at somebody, especially live on TV where everyone's
And
watching.
I get it that people buy a ticket and they think they
Yeah.
can yell whatever abusive, horrible crap
Yeah.
they want at players.
Yeah, that doesn't make them good people, but technically speaking, they can up to a point when security decides that it's too much and will escort you out.
Yep,
There is a point.
there is
But-
a point. So, DK, get yourself some help, brother. We'll see you back in the
Yeah.
playoffs because you've got a winning season. You're going to win the North.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't look like anyone's touching you guys. So,
Nope. I think you've got the AFC North sewn up.
as weird as that sounds, at a fucking 9-8 season again. Good job, Steelers. You are very, very consistent.
They're at
Monday night.
they're at 9-6 right now. There's 2 games left. If they lose
I know
both
that's
of
why I
them, it's
said
9-8.
9-8. Yeah, that was the joke. Yeah.
Yep. Monday night, Old Man Rivers goes to San Francisco to play the 49ers.
You know what? It started out pretty good.
It started out pretty good. He threw a touchdown on his first drive.
Actually, I would say the first half in general was
The
actually not
first
that
half
bad.
in general was pretty good. The second half, on the other hand,
Not so much.
not so much. Fell apart real quick.
Yep. The Colts
Uh,
defense really let them down, let's be honest.
the Colts defense let them down, and the Niners defense picked it up and was like, nope, we're good.
Yep.
Pick six in the second half, and right before the end, under 2 minutes to go, and he threw the pick six. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
when
end
I
of the
turned it
game.
off right away there.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
was
was
like,
like, oh,
no,
there's a chance here. And then I saw that one. Nope, it's done.
that's the end of the game. Goodbye.
Yep.
48-27. Colts are officially out of the playoffs. Um,
Yep.
they started so well this season, too.
Everything fell apart pretty much right around midseason.
Yeah, yeah. Right about the time they made that trade for Sauce, everything went.
Interesting timing.
Oh, I don't think it was his fault because he got
No,
injured
no, I don't
he got
either.
injured right after that.
But I'm just saying, like, superstition wise, it's kind of funny to be like, oh, time to cut Sauce Gardner. He clearly was our problem.
Superstition wise, you're probably right. Let's hit out some game balls. You ready?
Sure.
You may start, sir.
Puka Nacua. Dude had a game, despite the loss.
Chris Olave. Dude had a game.
Christian McCaffrey. I haven't had you on my list for a while. Here you go, bud.
Cam Ward.
You bitch.
Woo!
That was my next one. That was indeed my next one. Well, shit. Who else do I give a game ball to now?
There's a couple you could.
There's a couple. There is definitely a couple. Who do I want to give it to though? I think I'll give it to DJ Moore. It's he had a pretty good end of the game. I'll give it to DJ Moore.
That's not bad. Who do I want to give it to? I got two guys, and I don't know who I want to give it to. You know what? I'm going to give it to Drake May.
Yeah, the ending was pretty good.
Not only that, the dude had nearly 400 yards passing.
I thought it was only 300.
It was 380.
Oh, was it that high?
Yeah.
I know. Matthew Stafford had like 460, though
Yeah.
220 of that was Puka Nacua.
To Puka, yeah. And
you were right.
honorable mention for me, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I thought about him too, but I didn't put him on here. I didn't think about it though.
Now let's tell some people they're stinky and should go shower.
Okay.
I'll start with this one. You're going to see a theme here pretty quickly. New York Jets, all of you, into the shower. You obviously didn't listen to me last season when I put you in the shower. You need to go shower because your organization has a rancid, fetid stench coming off of it. Go. You soap.
Baker Mayfield, that was a bad game, and you need to relax.
Kansas City Chiefs. You know what you did.
DK Metcalf, we've already talked about you. You get an extra 2-day shower. Go enjoy it. 2-game shower, sorry.
Dallas Cowboys defense. Get.
And my last one's kind of a cheat, but I don't care anyways. I'm putting the refs in there. You guys clearly need to be reminded that you need to take showers once in a while too.
All right, let's do some Inferno, baby. You may begin, good sir.
At number 4, I actually put a first-year head coach on here, but he looked like absolute ass the entire season. So Aaron Glenn, you got a lot of work ahead of you. That seat's already pretty fucking warm, my guy.
I'm putting a guy on here that I didn't think I'd have to put on here. But after the game, I think he has to go on here, if only because, yeah. John Harbaugh, you're in the third circle.
I actually thought about putting him on there. I'm not going to lie. I actually did think about it.
It's because, questions about did you keep Henry out? Did he get injured? There's a lot of questions to go around about what happened in that game. But you, sir, need to, because when was your last Super Bowl? When was your last big run? You've never done it with Lamar, and you've had great teams. You're beginning to lose your goodwill.
Yep. I talked about it this year if they didn't make playoffs. that goodwill was going to get squandered pretty quick. Um, my next ones are no, like they're pretty obvious ones to be honest, because I tried to think outside the box, but the problem is at the end of this season, it's pretty obvious who's shit and who's not. So Mike McDaniel's at number 8, because quite frankly, I think he's probably done. There was even somebody who asked him about rumors that he might staying, and he refused to answer, which tells me all that we need to know. Even he doesn't want to fucking be in Miami anymore.
For me, I got Zach Taylor at 6. And the reason he's only at 6 is because it sounds like the Bengals plan to keep him.
They do, because the Bengals are the Bengals.
And you're playing roulette with Joe Burrow because it doesn't sound like he likes Zach Taylor.
I don't think he does either. I think he's put up with him, and he's getting real tired of it.
Yep. And if you lose Joe Burrow, your whole franchise is going to collapse faster than a flan in the cupboard.
Pretty much. I get it, but that was a weird way of saying that. And then for my final 9th, I have Todd Bowles, because fucking hell, you want to talk about a way to squander a very obvious playoff season? You have squandered it, sir.
Todd Bowles is down in my 10th. He's down in the 10th. You start 5-1, and then you just skid out the rest of the season.
With a good team, mind you. This isn't like a bad football team.
Even when they were injured, it's not like they were bad.
That's what I'm saying. They have good players. There's no reason for this.
There is absolutely no reason for this whatsoever. None. Hot potatoes?
Sure.
I'll start. And I'm going to start with one that should be obvious, but I don't know if it'll ever happen.
Okay.
Maybe it's time for the Cowboys to pull the plug and go into a full rebuild.
I mean, we've talked about that, but it depends on how the off seasons goes. Because if they move on from Dak and they can get, say, a Joe Burrow, crazy as that is, they might be able to suspend doing a full rebuild. It mostly depends on
but
what
I
they
don't
can
think
get.
Offense is their problem. Defense is.
I agree, but that wouldn't necessarily be a full rebuild, and that would be just a defensive build. So that's not quite the same thing, right? So full rebuild would be more like, okay, we're going to move off of CD, we're going to move off of Dak, we're going to get rid of some contracts and then try to rebuild in the draft. Around other key players, right? Which, I mean, I could definitely see them doing. Well, no, I actually can't see them doing that. Never mind, I pull that back. It's Jerry Jones. He'll never do that.
Exactly.
I can see the logic in it, but he'll never do it.
No.
So there's my actual answer. I see the logic. They'll never do it. All right, for my potato, maybe despite everything that's happened, the Rams will still win the Super Bowl this year.
They've got a good chance of it. They do. I think it was a fluke that they didn't win the game against Seattle. Honestly,
I actually do think that was a fluke game, to be honest. Yeah,
that was a fluke game. I think the Rams.
Excuse me.
Thank you. I think the Rams are still the better team.
I do think so too. Yeah.
So that's not impossible.
My God, you don't get a second one.
So no, I'll take that. Maybe John Harbaugh should resign while he still has dignity left.
That won't happen. We know the Harbaughs. They've been around football for so long. There's no way that'll happen.
I
Despite,
didn't say retire. I said resign. Time to go
I know.
somewhere else.
I just don't think that'll happen. Like that's what I'm saying. They're Harbaugh. They're stubborn as fuck, dude. Like that won't happen.
I can't
Despite
say that you're wrong.
despite the fact that I can't disagree that it might be a good idea, I just don't think it'll happen. So put it that way. Maybe this very just maybe is, but the Cowboys might have found a good head coach.
It's possible. I think they need to get rid of Eberflus and find a good defensive coordinator.
I agree with that, but I was gonna say Brian Schottenheimer has not looked as bad as I was expecting. He actually has looked pretty
That
decent.
I'll agree with. I will say that he has exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's possible that they finally found a coach that can do something with the team. They just need to put the right coordinators around him now.
yep, agreed.
Now this one is going to come with an extra side of spice. So be ready.
Yeah, I got a pretty spicy one for my last one. So yeah.
This is ultra spicy. Looking ahead to next season,
Okay.
maybe calling my shot. The Giants are going to win the East next year.
Bitch, I said that like 3 weeks ago.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I said the Giants would be the favorites of their division going next year.
No, I didn't say they're going to be the favorites. I said straight up they're going to win the East.
When I said favorites, I meant as in favorites to win their division.
Yes, I'm not saying that they're going to be the favorites to win it coming into the preseason. I was saying by the end of the season they will have won it.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that's pretty much exactly what I meant. Is that they were not only the favorites, but they were probably going to win it because they were favorites. They were like by far, the better team. I'm. This isn't anything new to me. Yeah, I think Jackson Dart with Cam Scatterboo and whatever first round picks they get. Yeah, I think they will legitimately be an extreme threat, considering the fact how weak the fucking East was this year. Yeah. I don't see. I don't. I mean, it's possible they don't win it, but I think the odds. May the odds ever be in your favor? Like I legitimately believe that the Giants will be a far better football team, and that means the Eagles should be in danger. I think the only question will be how Jaden Daniels looks coming back from his injury, because that would be probably their top other contender.
That's what I was going to say. I think next year it's going to be the Giants and the Commanders at the top of the division.
Yeah, honestly, I really do believe that. And I think Nick Sirianni might end up getting fired next year, but we'll see. We'll see. And for my final potato, my nice spicy potato, one that's going to piggyback on slightly on the one you've already said, but for a different reason. Maybe, just maybe, it's time for the Ravens to move on from Lamar.
You know what? I almost put this on here, but the other way around, maybe it's time for Lamar to move on from the Ravens.
Yeah, same difference, yeah.
Same difference, and I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, my biggest
He's
issue
not-
with Lamar at this point, I'm still standing by it because I said it last year, I'm saying it again. Dude can't stay fucking healthy for a whole season.
Exactly. That's the biggest problem we have. He needs, he likes to run, and I get it. He needs to stop trying to run so much, and he needs an O-line that can fully protect him so that he only has to run when he needs to. He's starting to get older. That kind of running stuff is what did in Cam Newton, and it's going to be what does in Lamar too. Their shelf life is not going to be as long. You're going to have a very limited shelf life, but he can still throw the ball like a monster. So you need to start transitioning to pocket quarterback, my
100%.
dude.
Yep, 100%.
And if you can do that with the occasional run, you're going to be a lot better. Like Josh Allen is not run first. He is a pocket quarter. Well, not pocket. He's a little more mobile. But
he's an elusive quarterback, yeah.
He runs when he has to.
Kind of like Patrick Mahomes. They're kind of more elusive quarterback.
Yes.
They don't necessarily run for it. They'll try to run out of the pocket to extend the play, not run for first downs.
If you can start looking to do that, then Lamar becomes better. But I think he needs a coach that's willing to try to put that into his brain.
Yeah.
And I don't think Harbaugh's that guy.
No, it doesn't seem like, at least not John anyways.
Yeah. All right. Power rankings?
Sure.
Power rankings. You may start, sir. Who do you have at your number 10?
At number 10, I have the Texans because, well, they deserve to finally be on the list, and they almost lost that game, so I don't feel very good about bringing them much higher than that at this time. But they've made the list, and depending on how things go, they could climb it pretty quick. I mean, these last couple of weeks, a lot of things can change. Never know.
At number 10, I have the Chargers. I
Okay.
think they're playing well, but I don't think beating Dallas in its current incarnation is that big of a feat.
No, I agree, which is why I have the Chargers at 9. You moved up exactly one spot because you won 2 games in a row, and I went, all right, fair enough. You can go to 9. Fuck off.
And I put the Texans at 9. So we just
We just
flipped the
swapped
bottom.
those. Yep.
We just flipped the bottom two.
Yep, pretty much.
Yep.
We'll see how the rest of the list goes, but at 8, I have the Bills. Uh, Honestly, the main reason for this is I just think everyone else is just better than they are at the top end right now, and the Bills are too wishy-washy. Like that game should not have been that close. I realize Josh Allen did get injured partially, but I think despite that, it still should. It just goes to show that what we've talked about, which is without Josh Allen, that team is nothing, and that's very scary going into playoffs.
They're not. You're not too far off from me. You're a couple. I'm a couple higher on them than you.
Okay.
At 8, I have the Bears. I understand
Okay.
you beat the Packers. I get it. But you beat the Packers without Jordan Love. While Willis played good, I still don't know that they're in that position with Love playing. And
Maybe.
I don't know
Hard to
that you're in
say.
a position to possibly win that game if Love plays. So
Hard to say.
it is hard to say. And I'm not
Yeah.
going to say that you guys don't deserve some kudos, but you ain't there yet.
At 7, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. The only reason I didn't really bring them any higher was again, my list is getting really tight for deciding who goes up higher or not, and the win was good. I mean, he jumped you up a couple spots. We'll see if you continue winning against hard opponents. I think that was my biggest criticism is that most of their opponents, I'm like, okay, you beat up on really easy guys. Now, granted, you finally did it against a really hard opponent, so you move up a couple spots. But I need to see you do that more consistently, and you only got 2 weeks left to show me that.
At number 7, I also have the Jags for all the same reasons.
Yeah. At 6, I have the Bears because I, unlike you, have a higher opinion of that win, which is probably why you have the Bills at 6 is my assumption.
Yes. We flip flopped them again.
Yep, I'm not shocked by that.
I'm not either, knowing us.
Yep.
But yeah, I just have a higher opinion of them. I really like Josh Allen. They're again, we could make the thing of like that game shouldn't have been that close. Yeah, but they won.
Yeah, yeah. That's my same argument again with the Bears, yeah, but they won. Um, at number 5, I have a team that I didn't want to drop this far, but I just didn't have any way to put them any higher. Unfortunately, I do have to put the Rams at 5. It does make me feel a little gross about it, knowing that I believe that they are a deserving of a higher spot. But I just have a hard time based upon this week justifying them higher. I imagine the next week or two they'll jump back up, but at least as far as week 16 goes, they're at 5.
At 5, I have the Niners. I think they're playing very good right now. I just think that the teams above them are better.
I get that, which is why I have the 49ers at 4, because I do think that they are a good football team, and I think most of the teams above them are better than them. I think the Rams is the one that's questionable, but even then, I feel like the 49ers deserve to move up a little bit because they were sitting at 5 for the last 2 weeks on my list. So
And I have the Broncos at 4. Losing to
okay.
Jacksonville. I know Jacksonville's proving to be a much better team than we think, but they did end your winning streak, and it was at Mile High.
It
So
was, yeah.
I gotta drop you.
Um, I did drop them, but I didn't drop them that far. So at 3, I had the Seattle Seahawks, who have moved up from 5, because I do think that they are still a very, very good football team. Um, I think ultimately they'll probably end up dropping back down to probably 4 at some point. But as far as that win go is concerned, that does show them to be like a legitimate like playoff team, which is what we kind of been saying they would be. So
At 3, I have the Rams. I didn't drop them that far, but they did get bumped for losing. But I thought that was a really tight game, and they played really well. The loss was a fluke more than it was anything.
probably. At 2, like I said, I didn't drop them too far. I have the Broncos at 2 because I had them at 1 last week. So I think it's deserving that they do get dropped for that. I don't think that they deserve to drop that far because, as you've already stated, the Jags are a far better team than we expected. It is a crap loss at home, but I feel like it's likely one of those. It's one of those games where you look at it and you go, you know what? It's probably. Sorry, I got distracted. It's probably a good thing that they lost in some ways because it's kind of like that resilience of like, oh wait, we aren't unbeatable. We lost. Okay, we lost. You'd rather have that happen before the playoffs, if you see what I'm saying.
I absolutely see what you're saying. At number 2, I have the Seattle Seahawks. You won. I think it was a fluky victory, but I can't penalize you for fluky ref play, so you won.
Yep. And then I mean, number 1 is the
The
Patriots. I
Patriots.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Patriots.
They
Yeah.
they did it. They even did a comeback win to win their game. So it's hard
Yeah.
not to be like, okay, that was easily the best performance. I mean,
Yeah.
mhm.
That Drake May
Patriots
is.
being the Patriots again.
Yep. Drake May is the new Tom Brady.
Drake May is the new Tom Brady. Fuck that is a terrible nickname, by the way.
Just call him DM for Christ's sakes.
Nah, I don't know. There's so many other things you could do, but
Yeah.
Drake May is fucking awful.
Well, with that, let's go into week 17. You ready?
No, but go for it anyways.
We're going to start the week with the Cowboys at the Commanders.
A game no one wants to win. Um, I do think the Cowboys will win this game, but it's not going to be a good game.
I don't think it's going to be a good game either, and it's a terrible offense against a terrible defense, and a good offense against an okay, good defense.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and this is going to be a total crap show.
Pretty much.
Uh, Lions at Vikings.
I mean, knowing that we're not going to have JJ, Brosmer isn't a bad quarterback, but I think the odds of winning that game are pretty slim. So I am going to lean Lions. It is more than likely
Especially
what's going to
considering
happen.
we haven't heard anything on Mason, if he's going to
Yeah,
be back, and how bad is the injury to Aaron Jones, and
yeah,
maybe we're going to be on a backup running back.
whoever that is.
Yeah, at this point in the season, I almost want to shut down all the starters and just run the backups.
Yeah, but they won't do that for a Christmas game, so
No, no. Maybe the final game of the season.
maybe that's more than likely what they if they do, what they will do it there.
Um, Broncos at Chiefs.
I mean, the Chiefs are not even in this anymore, so I would say this should be an easy Broncos win.
Oh, I agree. 100%. This is all Broncos all the time. Now for some more interesting ones. Texans at Chargers.
Hmm, that'll be a pretty good game. I
That'll be
think
fun.
I'm leaning Chargers on that one though.
Okay, I am leaning Texans for obvious reasons.
Strouch.
I mean, that's part of it, but also their defense is really good. And with that O line of the Chargers as beat up as it is.
You would think so, but they somehow went completely unsacked. So
Ravens at Packers.
man, this is one of those games where it really depends on who's playing, because we don't know. We have no idea if Lamar's going to be able to play because I've heard he's day to day at this point.
Yep.
We don't know if Jordan Love's going to be back from concussion protocol by then.
Yep.
I assume the odds are likely that he'll be back, but you never know. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Depends how bad the concussion was.
Yep.
So, with that being said, I'm gonna lean Ravens. I think. I think their backup, I think, is a little bit better than Malik. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with the Packers just to be contrarian.
Yeah, I was gonna say it really is a coin flip on that game, to be honest with you.
Yes. Steelers at Browns.
Uh, Probably Steelers, but the Browns defense is really good, so they could actually. Yeah, I mean, it depends. It honestly depends, but I do think Steelers are more than likely going to win that game.
I agree with you fully. This one should be a no-brainer. Pats and Jets.
I'm gonna pick the Jets. No, it's definitely the Patriots. It's
Yeah.
definitely Patriots.
Here's
It's
another
definitely
one that could be fun to watch. Saints at Titans.
Yeah, yeah, maybe, but I do think the Saints have a more complete team at the moment.
I'll take the Titans.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. Jags at Colts.
The Colts really aren't playing for anything anymore. I don't even know if they're going to put Philip Rivers back in or if they're going to let the backup get some more time.
Riley Leonard or maybe even Anthony
Riley,
Richardson
yeah.
if he's ready to go.
Yeah, so they might decide to let them play because Philip Rivers couldn't save the season and he'll be just the QB coach basically,
Yep.
which would make sense. So, but with that being said, I just don't see the Colts really standing a chance whatsoever. So,
I agree. Buccaneers at Dolphins.
this is a game that the Bucks need to win. If they don't, you really should leave Todd Bowles and Miami. Just don't even
bring him home on the
don't
team
bring
bus.
him home at that point.
Leave him there. So we're both taking the Bucks.
Yeah.
Seahawks at Panthers.
I want to pick the Panthers so bad, but I think the odds of them beating the Seahawks is pretty small.
I agree. Cardinals at Bengals.
Oh man, poor Cardinals. They're going to get slaughtered by the Bengals offense.
I think that's most likely to happen, yes.
When Joe Burrow is angry, you know that things are going to go bad.
Giants at Raiders.
Oh, that's a bad game.
That's a bad game.
I'm going to pick the Giants just because I like Jackson Dart. No other reason.
I agree. Also, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you say?
Yeah. Eagles at Bills.
As long as Josh Allen is even 80% of Josh Allen, they'll win that game.
Yep, agreed. Bears at Niners.
Ooh. I'm actually going to pick the Niners, I think. I'm going to pick the Niners.
I'm going to be with you on that one. I think the Niners are the way to go. And then Rams at Falcons.
Yeah, the Rams are going to slaughter them. They're angry and they're going to want to come back in.
They're angry. So
they're going to slaughter the Falcons. It's not even going to be close.
Alrighty. I think that's it for this week. I'm not going to do a power rankings for the NHL. I'm going to wait till after Christmas to start that up again. So,
Fair enough.
We hope that you guys have a great holiday. We hope that all of you have a very Merry Christmas and you get all the presents you want. We'll see you again.
I hope you never get what you want. I hope you get coal.
That means you were visited by Krampus.
Krampus will come for you.
We will see you again after the holiday. We'll probably shoot one post-Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's. And we'll see you when we come back. Look, if you like what we do, if you like this stuff, please give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a subscribe, hit the bell notifications so that, you can see every time we upload. I'll try to get this out a little earlier because I don't have school for this week or next week. We will see you next time. Until then, we're going to say that we believe in you. Put your mind to it. We know you can get it done. Until then, stay bearded and peace